What is up, guys? Puppy Sitting Kackis here, so if you hear some weird noises, that's why. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today, we've got some brand spankin' new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, unveiling official information. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, Bungie and the dev team took some time to address the crazy puzzle that dropped, I guess, last week. This kind of came out of nowhere. It really wasn't announced. It wasn't anywhere within the Season of Dawn calendar, or at least we thought, and it turned into this massive community thing where people were submitting their particular pieces of the puzzle. 5,000 pieces were assembled to create this map, and then we unlocked the Bastion exotic fusion rifle quest, which did appear on the seasonal calendar, but on January 28th, but we unlocked it early, and there's mixed feelings about that, but regardless, Bungie talked about that. They say, when we started planning the puzzle, we created a few goals to guide our development. Number 1, create a time maze through which any player can dive to discover secrets and lore, serve as a shared community puzzle that rewards the exotic fusion rifle, and lastly, celebrate community achievement and invite all players to participate in the reward. Alright, so that's fair, and it looks like they did accomplish all three of these things. They also say that the bones of this idea originated several years ago with the discovery of the Sleeper Simulant and the ensuing quest to unlock it. At the time, we recognized that the moment of discovery was reserved for the few people that happened to be online at the time that hidden content unlocked. Similarly, the secret mission for the Whisper and 0 Hour were also moments of discovery reserved for the few people online within a limited time window to be the first to experience it. By contrast, this puzzle was meant to be experienced by everyone who wanted to be included. And I think that's a very interesting argument, saying that, hey, if you go on a holiday or you're just away, you're at work, whatever, and then something like 0 Hour drops and the Outbreak Perfect is in the game, well, the people who are online are going crazy and it's so cool, but then you get a serious case of FOMO as you watch all this stuff happen. The puzzle, everyone could, even if you didn't participate, you could generally keep track, and the community was posting updates as much as they could, and you know, there was several days of, we're gonna get it soon, and that happened like day after day after day, but you could kind of track the progress, and so when it did come out, it was somewhat to be expected. But with that all being said, I mean, the puzzle was solved at like 4 a.m. or something like that, so people definitely still got left out for not being online. Now, Bungie does say the delivery of this puzzle came together as the team began exploring the concept and the narrative for Season of Dawn. The puzzle seemed to fit well with the idea of the corridors of time and players meandering and weaving through time to find a specific reality. It did honestly make sense. I love the idea of everyone got their own puzzle piece and you're trying to find this pathway, the correct pathway through time, and there's all these other wrong pathways. But lastly, Bungie does say, again, we want to thank everyone who participated for this puzzle or cheered from the sidelines, and they're actively monitoring the feedback around this situation to see how they do things in the future. This was not unprecedented. Like, for people maybe new to Destiny, Bungie has done a lot of these ARG, like collecting many different data points from the community to combine it to one big thing. That's happened several times before in either like stuff to uncover lore entries, stop chewing my chair, or to unlock certain exotics and stuff like that in the past. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next implementation of this kind of puzzle, how that works out. Alright, moving on from there, we have a lot of information about the next update hitting Destiny 2, coming next week on January 28th. It's going to be update 2.7.1, and it's going to do a lot of things. Now, I want to address, in the previous news video I made, I mistakenly said that some of the changes coming in this update had already hit the game because Bungie was talking about an update that was delayed for 48 hours, and then next line down we're talking about the new update, so it was a little bit confusing, but that will encompass stuff like, well, mainly the hard light is getting a kind of reduction in recoil, so check that gun out on January 28th, and also the breakneck Gambit ritual weapon is getting a damage buff, so definitely check that out as well when update 2.7.1 hits. But on top of that stuff, there's also going to be a ton of performance issues that are being addressed. Frame rate drops in Gambit Prime, UI stuttering and frame rate drops when loading or applying mods. So just a ton of that stuff. I think they're also addressing that glitch where you don't have enough frames or you have too many frames when you're in the pit of heresy, and so you can just randomly die at a certain part, which definitely affects going for solo flawless, let's just say. So next week, the game should just generally run smoother and have less of these issues. But they're also doing some interesting things with investment and some sandbox changes that you guys definitely want to know about. So, with investment, the Green with Envy quest that was not progressing, that should be fixed. The Playing the Odds emblem that was not unlocking, that should be fixed. And they're also improving the Black Armory rare bounty acquisition, so the chances increase as you complete weekly and daily bounties. It's a guaranteed drop now from bounty completion after 5 days, if completing all 801 bounties. That is absolutely massive news, because to unlock the Izanagi's Burden exotic sniper rifle, which is arguably the best PvE exotic in the entire game right now, that does require you to have a rare Black Armory bounty, and now having it a guaranteed drop possibly, that's a huge deal for anyone out there who hasn't yet acquired that weapon. Moving on from there, some sandbox changes. So, they fixed an issue where the heavy-handed mod could trigger from Telesto bolts, and they fixed an issue where players could retain buffs from Wormgod Caress and Winter's Guile and Syncosephs even after swapping armor. So that led to some absolute melee shenanigans. I did a video detailing what exactly you could do, and a single melee could do over 650,000 damage. But because of these shenanigans, both the Wormgod Caress and the Winter's Guile exotic gauntlets for the Titan and Warlock respectively were disabled. Like, if you have them, you can't equip them. But once this patch hits and the issue of stowing the bonus as you swap armor is resolved, the restrictions are going to be lifted. So you can use Wormgod Caress and Winter's Guile coming up on the 28th. And this is very important because obviously stowing the buff by swapping armor could enable some busted things, especially against bosses. But you can still get to those insane damage numbers, you just gotta be killing and meleeing enemies up the chain. So it's gonna be possible to do some still pretty busted things when those two exotics are enabled again. And the last thing we're going to talk about is one more issue involving the Corridors of Time. So importantly, those are going away on the weekly reset of January 28th. So you cannot go into the Corridors of Time, which means you can't get the 19 lore entries or the emblem for entering the 11-digit code. So make sure you do that stuff now. Oh my goodness, are you scratching the door? Before it's gone on the 28th. In addition to that, a lot of players are not getting the actual Bastion quest, and that's because you have to have done all the Osiris quests involving Saint 14 before you can get this Bastion quest. So those 3 quests that you need to do that are claimed from Osiris are Recovering the Past, An Impossible Task, and Completing an Impossible Task. All 3 need to be done on that character, and then that character can have access to the Memento quest that's available from Saint 14. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.